Harvard students are zoning out, literally. At Harvard, many students are tuning out, not just figuratively. According to the New York Times, a faculty report found that students are skipping lectures, or worse, showing up only to stare at their phones while someone else records the class for them. Some even trade audio recordings from classmates instead of attending in person. Professors say the trend has created a quiet crisis on campus. Fewer students participate, few read the assignments, and classroom discussion has withered. Economics professor David Lapson says many pretend to have done the work while, quote, one student basically carries the day. Harvard's device-free sitting sections often sit empty. I didn't even know they had that, but apparently there's a marking saying no devices in this corner. They're often empty as glowing screens fill the rest of the lecture hall. The university is now experimenting with attendance checks, phone bans, good for them, and essay prompts about intellectual curiosity. It's an uncomfortable truth for America's top schools. When students stop engaging, even Harvard becomes just another content feed. Okay, what's the real message here? The professors at Harvard and every other university need to do their job. It's more work, but you need to start grading people, students, on their class participation. And guess what? If you don't show up or you're staring at a cell phone, you deserve an F. Let's dig a little deeper here. Now, I would not make it very long as a professor at Harvard or anyone else because I have very little patience for anyone that I'm talking to, speaking to, giving a training session to, staring at a cell phone. It's a big problem. Certainly, if they don't even show up. Now, here's the problem. These universities, they like to say, oh, we're noble nonprofits. They are massive money intake machines. They like to scale. They like to be super profitable. So it's nice to have some star professors where you give them, sometimes $1 million or $2 million a year. They're the big name, and they fill up a lecture hall with 600 students. I know my introductory freshman econ class had probably 300 students in it because it was a well-known, famous professor. And that's a way to make money and keep costs down. The problem is, if everything then comes down to a multiple choice test, yeah, it's easy to grade, it's efficient. In the old days, your teaching assistants, your TAs could do it. Now I guess it's all plugged right into a computer, and the teachers didn't have to do anything but show up. Problem is, no learning is taking place. The whole thing is becoming a bit of an AI generated, this AI to this, to this, to this. What's really happening here? Why not just charge $200,000 for a degree and be done with it and just say, here it is. Don't tell anyone you didn't come to class. So here's my advice to you. If you are a teacher, a trainer, or an instructor, because this is an issue I deal with all the time. If someone's coming to me for a media training or a public speaking training, a couple of things happen right away. I put everyone in a front row seat. Now, I understand every college campus classroom can't be restructured for every teacher. But if you ever have an opportunity in your corporate environment, in a civic group, and you're speaking to people, arrange the chairs so everyone has a front row seat. This makes it more embarrassing for people to stare at their cell phone. It makes it a lot easier for you to walk right up to them and ask them a question. That's what I do. If you have people in your audience staring at a cell phone, I hate to tell you, if you are a teacher, a trainer, or instructor, a speaker, it means you're not doing your job. You need to manage the crowd. You need to manage the audience, and it can be done. Now, I wouldn't go so far as there was a video on YouTube more than 10 years ago. It turns out it was a put on, but there was a college professor lecturing in front of a class, and you saw the students, and you could kind of see one kid on his cell phone. The professor walks up, grabs the cell phone out of the kid's hand, throws it against the wall. It smashes into a million pieces, and the professor just keeps on going like nothing happened. Now, I've later found out that was a put on. It was an act, but it made a great point. I love that video. Other people are offended by it. I'm not telling you to destroy other people's personal property. If you're a teacher, tempting. I can relate to it if it does feel like some of you, but I'm not suggesting you do that. But if you're the teacher, you can make rules. If I were a teacher at a university, I would say, okay, I'm gonna have a rule. A teaching assistant will be out front and you will put your phone in a basket and you'll get it at the end of class. If I see you on a cell phone, then automatic, you lose 1 grade. You get 100 on the next 10 tests, best you can get is a B. That would be my rule. The next thing I would do is actually mark who is participating. You want to get 100 on the test because your friend Joey made a secret audio recording and you listened to the lecture and you did okay on the test? Okay, But if you didn't show up in class and you didn't participate, you're never going to get higher than a C. That's how I would run my classroom. Now you say, well, TJ, that wouldn't work at our school. Our students are our customers. Okay. If they're just the customers, then just give everyone an A and say, look, little Timmy, little Johnny, little Sally, you're wonderful. Here's just an audio of all my lectures. If you want to listen to it, fine. If you don't, that's okay. Here's an A. Thank you for the check. Thank you for the tuition. Look, there are some garbage colleges, some really cheap proprietary colleges, some diploma mills that have always done this. But isn't Harvard supposed to be special? Isn't it supposed to be different? Isn't it supposed to attract the greatest minds who want to learn? Look, I don't want to be a hypocrite here. I love online learning. That's how I make my livelihood. I have 12 million online student enrollments. So I have no problem with someone listening to an audio or watching a video to learn something. The difference is when someone buys one of my classes, they typically aren't paying more than 20 bucks. If you're going to Harvard for 4 years, you're going to spend, unless you're on full scholarship, hundreds of thousands of dollars. There should be a difference between $20 experience and a $200,000 experience. And Harvard needs to address this. And rather than putting so much pressure on professors to get published in obscure research journals read by 2 people, maybe they should put more pressure on professors. And I don't mean to single out Harvard, but that's what got the attention in the news today. They should put more pressure on teachers to actually know the names of their students, to take attendance, and to mark who is giving discussion, who's asking real questions in class, who's answering questions, and who isn't. Now, there's another phenomenon going on, and this is outlined in the New York Times today, where kids are taking sometimes 2, sometimes 3 classes all at the same time. So it's not even theoretically possible for them to go to the class. It's like, oh, I want this class. I want to get this on my resume. I want to get this on my transcript. I got to sign this up. I know, Johnny has the audio lectures from last semester. I'll just listen to that and cram for the test. No, there's got to be a pretty easy way. You don't even need AI for this. You need a basic computer program that would prohibit a student from taking 2 classes overlapping at the same time. This is a real opening for other universities, especially smaller universities, especially ones that don't show up in the USA or US News and World Report top 10 surveys, and it just came out again, and say, look, we have real teachers with real classrooms where you're expected to show up and be present. I think schools that do that would really do well in the competition for students who really want to learn. I don't know why you want to just sit in your dorm room and listen to an audio all night long before the test. What do you do the whole rest? Why did you even bother going to college? It's a huge, huge problem. Hakeem writes, if Harvard kids can't focus, what hope is there for the rest of us? It's a good point. I guess part of the issue is they are focusing, but not on their studies. They're not focusing on their academics. They're focusing on, presumably, TikTok and sexy men and women jumping around on Instagram and all this other stuff, and just giving partial attention to their studies. And ultimately, they're only shortchanging themselves, but society does lose as well.